Dr. Malat. Welcome to week 3. My camera is turned off because I just returned from a walk. I'm hot, I'm sweaty, and my hair is an absolute mess. So I thought I would spare you that sight and just focus on the week's work here. So as I said before, this is week 3, and this week we're going to focus more on narration or storytelling and the elements of what makes a good story. I have some materials that will help you understand what narrative is, what narration is, as well as an example of a literacy narrative, which is also the particular type of narrative writing that we will be focusing on as we start working towards essay number 1. Essay number 1 is the literacy narrative, and that will be due in, it says week 4 on the screen, but I'm pretty sure that I have moved that due date to week 5. And as you can see, as I go through the different weeks, yes, it is due on week 5. So I will make sure that I amend that. It says week 4 in the video at the screen that you're looking at right now as you watch the video, but it is in fact due in week 5. So you have a few weeks to work on it. So I don't panic. So this week's objectives is you're going to be using reading and writing for inquiry, learning, thinking, and communicating. You will also learn how to analyze relationships among writer, text, and audience for various kinds of texts. You'll use critical thinking strategies to analyze those texts and practice writing as a process that includes generating ideas in text, drafting, revising, and editing, and recognize that writing is a flexible and recursive process. You will also be applying this understanding and recognition to produce successive drafts of increasing quality. So I just want to cover the reading for this week. Yes, you have another grammar quiz. Once in a while, you won't have those quizzes, but this week you still have a grammar quiz. This week we will be focusing on semicolons and colons. So there are 2 readings from the University of Mississippi Rett Lab on semicolons and colons, understanding how we can use semicolons that serve as a way to connect 2 independent ideas, right? 2 complete ideas. Remember from the information you learned about on run-on sentences and fragments that a sentence has a complete idea. It has a subject and it has a verb. So when you connect 2 complete ideas, you can't use a comma, but if they are related to each other and or equal, you can connect them using a semicolon. The other alternative is to use a period, but sometimes the semicolon is the more appropriate choice. So you will have some reading to do here, a little bit of practice, which is actually the quiz that you will have. I just took the information from those practices and put them into our quizzes because it is open educational resource. You'll also do a little bit of reading, I believe, on colons. Nope, that'll be next week. So forget that. Just focus on semicolons this week and read those 2 pages, and then you can take the quiz. In the writer's process, we are looking at pages 41 and 45 in the first section called Reading Like a Writer. So that's pages 41 and 45, 41 through 45 in the PDF. And Warner talks about things like the writer, the audience, the purpose, all of the things that go into the rhetorical situation. So there's that. Then we have a piece from Malcolm X. It's not too long. I think it's about maybe 3 or 4 pages called Learning to Read. And this is from Malcolm X's autobiography, I believe. 5 pages. So there's a little bit of an introductory paragraph at the end that explains a little bit, provides you some context so you understand who Malcolm X was. And it talks a little bit about his journey. And then his literacy narrative begins. So he talks all about how he learned how to read, right? Learning to read. He didn't learn to read. He didn't learn to become literate in the way that we who go through formal schooling, those 12 plus years of public education, or compulsory education. Not everybody goes to public schools, but everybody grows up being educated in some way. He learned to read to really become a literate person when he was in prison. So he writes about that, and it's a very interesting anecdote that he shares. He talks all about his process, and the people who influenced him and that kind of thing. So this is acting as an example of a literacy narrative similar to what you will be writing as students. You will be writing your own literacy narratives. And we'll talk more about that probably next week to prepare you a little bit more about preparing for the, why did that go to the week 4 overview? To prepare you more for that first longer essay that you will be writing due in week 5. So take a look at that, read it. There will be some questions relating to that, as well as one of the videos that you're watching. Here is another website, another open Creative Commons thing, dealing with narration. So this is also very good to read. It talks about structure of narrative essays, plot, character, so on and so forth. How to go about writing a narrative essay, and has lots of bullet points and that kind of thing that will help you to understand the material a little bit better. So please make sure you take a look at that. I have posted the reading for the following week because it is a bit longer. And if you want to get a head start on it, I recommend it. It's a piece from the late Mike Rose. Mike Rose is considered kind of the rock star of the rhetoric and composition world. He was a really fantastic educator and wrote a lot about how to really assist people to become better readers and writers. So this is really good. It's another example of a literacy narrative, how he grew up. He came from a working class background, and how there was a mistake on an entrance exam for a school, and he got placed in a different track than what he was actually capable of doing. So the story talks all about the various people that he came in contact with as a young student, as well as the educators who, both good and bad, had some kind of an influence on him. So if you want to get a head start on that, I recommend it. You don't have to, but knowing that that it's a longer piece that you read, you might want to break it up into little chunks. So that's Mike Rose. For this week, the videos that I want you to watch, I have a video that I recorded last semester on narrative called What is Narrative? And it's related pretty much to the Successful Writing website. So these go hand in hand, narration and what is narrative. This gives you a little bit more of a visual that might be helpful. And then we have a TED Talk from Andrew Stanton called The Clues to a Great Story. So the week 3 discussion board, where you have reading and video responses, those are related to Malcolm X's Learning to Read and Andrew Stanton's The Clues to a Great Story. So let's go and take a look at that first so you understand what the goal is here, right? Answer the questions below as they relate to the reading assignment by Malcolm X and the video by Andrew Stanton. So there's 5 questions. For Malcolm X, what's his situation? What's going on in the story? What is his world like at the beginning? Why is his world that way? What is the conflict going on in his story? In other words, what problem does Malcolm X have to address? How and why does this become a problem? What lesson does he learn in regards to that conflict or problem? How does his world change? How is his world different? And then this question shouldn't be there. Let me edit that. Sorry, folks. Okay. I'm going to put that down below. So I ask you what Stanton means when he talks about the rhetorical device of unifying 2 plus 2 in the video. That will make more sense as you actually go and watch the video. And what do you think he means by spine? And what is his spine? Second question I want you to answer. What is Stanton's spine? And discuss a point in the video where Stanton reveals what his spine is to the viewer. Answer each of these in complete sentences and use examples or quotes from the reading or video to help support your answers. You don't have to use examples for each and every one, but it does help to provide some evidence. And then I'm asking you also to respond to 2 peers in a meaningful way to continue the discussion. Don't just say, I agree or I disagree or that's a great post. Those are all nice things to say to your peers. However, you should try to go a little bit deeper and try to actually have a conversation. Sometimes that might be asking a question, right? Why do you think that is the problem Malcolm X confronts? That kind of thing, right? Or maybe saying, I'm not quite sure what you mean by this. Can you clarify? Sometimes that's all that's needed to continue the conversation. So the initial post is due on Sunday the 10th, and then your peer responses are due on Wednesday, September 13th. I do want to point out, I do not mark off. You are not trying to get correct answers. It's really just trying to get you to think about the reading and to engage with the reading and with the video. So just try your best to answer the questions. That's all I ask of you. Don't worry so much about getting it right or getting it wrong, right? Make an attempt to answer the question. And then, as you read through your peers' postings, you can then say, oh, I never really thought of that. You raise a really good point, or something like that. If you didn't quite understand the reading, that's how we learn from one another, when we can engage with the reading and with each other. That helps our knowledge to grow, right? Our knowledge and our understanding of material to grow. So just try your best. Don't panic about getting right or wrong. Let's go back to the module. Week 3. I should really learn how to do this in a more effective way. Again, grammar quiz number 3 is on semicolons. It is 5 questions long, worth 10 points. Colons and semicolons, that's just the first page. And then the second page is semicolons. Again, you have 3 attempts to take the quiz to get a good score. So I think most of you have been doing really well on these. It's kind of what we call the self-correcting mode of learning, where you have the opportunity to improve and engage with the information. It's not so much mastery of the information, but a way for you to learn about the information that's being presented. Okay, so that is week 3 for in a nutshell. Not really, it's a very large nutshell, probably a coconut. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. Again, you can text me at that phone number that's in the syllabus, or you can send me an email. Several of you have asked for clarifications. I think that's fantastic. I love it when students reach out if they're not quite understanding what my directions say. I don't have a problem with you emailing me for clarifications. I want you to be able to understand what I'm trying to do with a certain assignment. So if you have any questions, please reach out. That's why I'm here. Okay. Everybody have a fantastic week and take care. Bye-bye.